4D Bookworm Acrylic Nailer Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish. Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be showing you a 4D back to school design that is bookworm themed. So it's pretty spot on because you just open the book and there's a worm. So I love this. I think it's just fun and cute. I do, however, think I like my other back to school 4D design that I did a couple years ago better, just because it's a little bit more classic back to school and has that very, I don't know, elementary school vibe. It just has a, you know, it's got all the classics in it. So if you guys are looking for a more back to school design, check that one out. Otherwise, this one is just for anybody that loves books. And what I think is kind of cool and what I would do personally, what you doing to my shirt there? What I would do is I would take and I would paint your favorite book on the cover, not just Once Upon a Time like I did. I personally don't have a favorite book. I have a favorite author, but not a favorite book. So I didn't know, you know, I could have painted the cover of one of her books, but yeah. I don't know. So I hope you guys like this as much as I do, and don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well. So to begin with, I'm going to start with an overlay of a nude nail color, and like I said in the intro, if you were doing this with a different book, a specific book theme, then I would do the background color for whatever's appropriate. I just wanted to kind of go with like a classic, almost a leather bound appearance fairy tale. So I just wanted to keep the background pretty, I don't know, innocent, pretty, I don't know, just not something that you really are going to look at or pay attention to. So after you have the background color done, encase it with a layer of clear acrylic and then file it into shape with your e-file. If you don't have an e-file, it's absolutely not necessary. I just use one to speed up the process a little bit, especially when I do usually 6 to 8 nails in a day. When I do them, I like just sort of cram all into one session. I get as much done as I can at one time. I find it goes a lot easier as long as you are well planned out beforehand. So anyways, e-file makes the process seem so much quicker. Anywho, now I'm going to be making the front and back covers of my book, and like I said, I wanted to keep it kind of almost a leather bound appearance, so I'm using a bronze color acrylic. The bronze really gives it that more mottled natural feeling that would have. So then after they have set, I'm just going to gently file the edges of them to square them up a little bit, and then I'm going to choose one of them to be the back of the book. It doesn't really matter as long as they're the same size. And I'm going to attach it to the nail with some clear acrylic, and then with white acrylic I'm going to build up the pages of the book. When you're doing this, you want to leave a little edge where you can see the back of the book on 3 sides. So you have the side where the binding is, which is the side that's all the way to the left, and then the other 3 sides you want to leave just a little edge on. So I don't know if you can see how that's going right now. So after you have the first little layer of acrylic on, depending on the acrylic you're using, that may be thick enough, and depending on just your preferences. I wanted it to look like it's a bit thicker of a book, a longer read, so I'm going to be adding a second layer of white acrylic over the top of that, just sort of working that in. Like I said, keep it so that it's flush to the one edge and then leaves a little gap around the other 3. Try to get your pages as flat as you can. If by the end of this they're not very flat, you can file them if you feel the need. Then I'm going to take a little bead and I'm going to take a little really thin, fine piece of wire and I'm going to bend it into a U shape. Just take your bead, don't worry about the wire at this point, but just take the bead then and glue it to the edge of the book where the binding will be, right about in the center on the pages. And for me, I was having trouble with my bead and glue because I ended up gluing the bead to my skin more than the book. But that's just how nail glue works for me. It's not a fun substance. And then take some more of your bronze color, whatever your book cover color is, and create the binding. So just add a line of that color along the edge. That's also going to help secure the bead in place so it doesn't just fall off on you. Then restring that U-shaped wire through your bead, and this is making your hinge, and then you're going to glue your wire ends to the cover of the book, to the front cover. Just hold that in place until the glue holds onto it enough that you can let go. After the glue is dry, then you can take some more of the bronze or whatever your color acrylic is and cover up the little ends of the wire. Same thing, the glue is just a temporary hold. The acrylic is really what's going to keep it in place. Drill a hole through your book for your worm to go through. And then I'm going to be writing out the cover of my book. So like I said, I'm going to be writing Once Upon a Time on the cover of my book. So now I have upon written there, and I kind of started in the middle and then working my way out. So I wrote upon first and then and time below that, and then I'll add once before that. When you're having fun with your book, I know for book covers, I've done a few, and now I'm trying to think. I know I did the Twilight book cover back one just on natural nails, but you don't have to do the entire book cover. You don't have to worry about adding every little detail on it. You can do enough that you know what book it is, and if it's your favorite book, do whatever makes you feel like you're representing it and makes you smile. So yeah. So then above that, I'm going to be writing bookworm. Same thing, if you were doing this for a certain book itself, you could definitely do something above that. Like you could write the author's name, you could do the picture that's on the front of the book, if there is one, on the book cover, and then write the author's name above it. I think that'd be cute. So I know I mentioned that I have a favorite author in the intro, but I did not mention who said author is. Juliet Blackwell is and her other pseudonyms, but Juliet Blackwell is my favorite author. And so for me, I don't know if you guys are familiar with books, but I would probably paint a little pig on the front of the book and then write Juliet Blackwell on above the book. But anyways, so I'm going to open up my book, and as you can see, I have a nice hole for my worm, but then you're just going to want to write little squiggles for the little words inside it. So just squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. Wow, that's hard to say really fast. Squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. Wow, I can't do it. I can paint it, but I can't say it. After that, I'm going to go back to the cover of the book with white paint, and I'm going to fill in my letters of Once Upon a Time, just to make them a little bit more vivid and easy to see. So I'm just going to go across just like so. Yep, and continue on. When you're doing this, make sure you don't have too much paint on your brush, or it's going to make your lines too thick, and it's going to make it look a little bit more, I don't know, a little more muddy, harder to read. So if you have really thin, nice lines, that's going to give you the best results. And then within the word worm, so as you can see, I wrote book very cursive-y and very simple. And then the word worm, I wrote a little bit more blocky with thicker lines. That's because I was going to fill it in. So I'm filling in the word worm, starting out first with light pink, and then I'm going to take a darker shade of pink and add little stripes all the way around that. So I'm just going to go and add really quick, it's almost like dashed line, just like a little tapping motion is all you have to do for that, just to kind of give it that worm appearance. Then apply a layer of gel sealer over the background, and over the cover of the book where you have the words, and over the inside of the book where you have your little squiggles. So now to make your worm, I'm going to take and I'm going to first just, it's a worm. There's not really much shape here. So it's just basically a line of acrylic, a little thicker on one end for the head, a little skinnier down. Then glue that to a little piece of wire for your handle, and then add more of that pink acrylic to the back of your worm to cover up the wire and give him a nice rounded shape. If you would like to, you can also add more acrylic to the front, which I'm doing, just to kind of round it off so it doesn't look so flat. It doesn't have, that squished appearance. It looks nice and plump and juicy, like he hasn't been stepped on. He's nice and full from reading all the pages. And then after you have all of that acrylic set, with a lighter shade of pink, go through and add stripes going around his body. Leave space for his face, so don't go all the way to the end of the worm. Just kind of start a little bit down and then add stripes going along the rest of his body. So when you're doing this, it's really easy to just hold your paintbrush still and spin the worm with the little piece of wire. Then with black paint, add 2 circles for his eyes, and then add the little earpieces and the little bridge. Fill in the lenses of the eye with white, or the lens of the glasses with white, I suppose, and a little black pupil. Apply gel sealer, and he is done. So here's the book, and if you didn't want to have a worm, you just want it to be your favorite book, that was definitely also possible, and I'm sure there are so many cool designs that you could do with this as your base idea that you could just run with. So I would love to see them. If you guys do any recreations, please share them with me on Facebook or Instagram. I'm sure they will be fantastic, and let's face it, people don't read enough, so if you have a favorite book, promote it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!